TEAS English Full Practice Test. Question 1. During a study session at the simulation lab, Tarek reviews the application and encounters this language question. Which option changes the checklist was updated by Priya to direct active voice? Option A. Priya updated the checklist. Option B. The checklist was updated by Priya. Option C. Priya updated another checklist. Option D. Priya updated the checklist was. The correct answer is option A. Priya updated the checklist. The performer moves before the verb and the receiver follows it. Changing voice requires preserving the action and participants while reorganizing their grammatical roles. Check both meaning and agreement after the transformation. During Tarek's review of the application, applying this check at the simulation lab will help eliminate tempting distractors. Question 2. The application drafted by Ava at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which sentence uses the comparative or superlative form correctly? Option A. Of the three explanations, Ava's was the better. Option B. Of the three explanations, Ava's was the most better. Option C. Of the three explanations, Ava's was the best. Option D. Of the three explanations, Ava's was the best than the others. The correct answer is option C. Of the three explanations, Ava's was the best. Watch for irregular forms and avoid double markers such as more better. The sentence compares three items and therefore requires the highest degree. Comparative and superlative forms depend on how many items are being compared. For the application from the simulation lab, Ava should verify this feature and then compare the remaining choices. Question 3. The application drafted by Ben at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which sentence is most appropriate for a classmate? Option A. Pursuant to our academic collaboration, transmit the aforementioned notes. Option B. Your failure to send notes is unacceptable. Option C. Could you share the notes from today's workshop? Option D. Notes. Now. The correct answer is option C. Could you share the notes from today's workshop? Remove slang, exaggeration, unnecessary jargon, and abrupt commands. The context calls for wording that is clear, courteous, specific, and free from unsupported judgment. Language should match the audience, purpose, and required level of formality. Using this method on the application allows Ben to make a rule-based decision at the simulation lab.
Stressed about your HESI A2? We can take HESI A2 for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee A pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 4. While editing the application at the simulation lab, Fatima reviews this item. A paragraph contains a topic sentence. The detail a 10-minute review each evening helps students retain rules and notice recurring errors, and a conclusion. Where should this evidence directly supports the paragraph's main claim about daily grammar practice be placed? Option A. After the supporting detail. Option B. Before the topic sentence. Option C. Before the supporting detail. Option D. After the concluding sentence. The correct answer is option A. After the supporting detail. Paragraph structure depends on unity, logical order, and clear relationships among sentences. The added sentence refers back to the evidence and explains its significance. Track the controlling idea and the reference made by each sentence. As Fatima reviews the application at the simulation lab, this check provides a reliable final confirmation. Question 5. Leo is preparing the final application for review at the simulation lab. Which version demonstrates correct subject-verb agreement? Option A. Neither the tutor nor the students are available on Friday afternoon. Option B. Neither the tutor nor the students is available on Friday afternoon. Option C. Neither the tutor nor the students clearly is available on Friday afternoon. Option D. Neither the tutor nor the students are available on Friday afternoon. The correct answer is option A. Neither the tutor nor the students are available on Friday afternoon. A verb agrees with the head of its subject, not with a nearby noun inside a phrase. Identify the complete subject before evaluating the verb form. The grammatical number of neither the tutor nor the students controls the verb in this sentence. Applying the rule to the complete application helps Leo avoid relying on how an option merely sounds at the simulation lab. Question 6. The application drafted by Imani at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which option contains a fused run-on? Option A. Noah proofread the survey, Elena verified the policy. Option B. Noah proofread the survey, Elena verified the policy. Option C. Noah proofread the survey, and Elena verified the policy. Option D, Noah proofread the survey. Elena verified the policy. The correct answer is option B. Noah proofread the survey. Elena verified the policy. Locate both complete thoughts before deciding whether the boundary is strong enough. Two independent clauses have been placed together without a boundary. Independent clauses require a period, semicolon, or a comma paired with an appropriate coordinating conjunction. During Imani's review of the application, applying this check at the simulation lab will help eliminate tempting distractors. Question 7. During a study session at the simulation lab, David reviews the application and encounters this language question. Which sentence follows standard capitalization rules? Option A, David visited Boston during March. Option B, David visited Boston during March. Option C, David visited Boston during March. Option D, David visited Boston during March. The correct answer is option D, David visited Boston during March. The example includes a combination of titles, dates, places, institutions, or official labels that must be distinguished from common nouns. Capitalization marks sentence beginnings and specific proper names. Ask whether each noun names a unique entity or merely a general category. For the application from the simulation lab, David should verify this feature and then compare the remaining choices. Question 8. Sarah is preparing the final application for review at the simulation lab. Which sentence should be removed from a paragraph focused on timed practice tests? Option A, a timed practice helps students manage the pace of the English section. Option B, a completing short sets under a clock reveals which questions consume too much time. Option C, pacing practice makes test-day decisions more efficient. Option D, the campus garden contains native flowers. The correct answer is option D, the campus garden contains native flowers. Paragraph structure depends on unity, logical order, and clear relationships among sentences. Track the controlling idea and the reference made by each sentence. One sentence does not develop the paragraph's controlling idea. Using this method on the application allows Sarah to make a rule-based decision at the simulation lab.
Are you looking for Get actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access GED study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get GED answer key today.
Question 9. The application drafted by Paul at the simulation lab contains the example below. Based on context, which meaning best fits ambiguous in the directions were ambiguous, two students interpreted them in different ways. Option A, identify differences. Option B, open to more than one interpretation. Option C, covering all major elements. Option D, obtain from a source. The correct answer is option B, open to more than one interpretation. Test each proposed meaning in the entire sentence rather than considering the word alone. The surrounding details narrow the possible sense of the target word. Context clues may appear as definitions, examples, contrasts, causes, or consequences. As Paul reviews the application at the simulation lab, this check provides a reliable final confirmation. Question 10. The application drafted by Rena at the simulation lab contains the example below. How should after the checklist be classified? Option A, a prepositional phrase. Option B, the independent clause. Option C, dependent clause. Option D, infinitive phrase. The correct answer is option A, prepositional phrase. Identify the subject and verb first, then test whether the group can stand alone. This word group must also be checked to see whether it expresses a complete thought or depends on another clause. Clauses contain a subject-verb relationship, while phrases do not express that complete relationship. Applying the rule to the complete application helps Rena avoid relying on how an option merely sounds at the simulation lab. Question 11. The presentation drafted by Amina at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which sentence uses colons correctly? Option A. The workshop begins at 8:30 a.m. Option B. The workshop begins at 8:30 a.m. Option C. The workshop begins at 8:30 a.m. Option D. The workshop begins at 8:30 a.m. The correct answer is option B. The workshop begins at 8:30 a.m. Identify the structure first, then choose the mark that performs that exact function. The mark separates hours from minutes in a time expression. Punctuation marks signal grammatical boundaries and relationships. During Amina's review of the presentation, applying this check at the simulation lab will help eliminate tempting distractors. Question 12. During a study session at the simulation lab, Jordan reviews the presentation and encounters this language question. Which sequence creates the most logical paragraph about using a proofreading checklist? Option A, a correct punctuation, introduce an unrelated topic, state the claim, remove the evidence. Option B, a present a conclusion, list evidence, choose a topic, draft the claim. Option C, state the main claim, present supporting evidence, explain the evidence, conclude the point. Option D, add details, submit the paragraph, identify the audience, revise the topic. The correct answer is option C. State the main claim, present supporting evidence, explain the evidence, conclude the point. The paragraph should move from a controlling idea through support and explanation to closure. Paragraph structure depends on unity, logical order, and clear relationships among sentences. Track the controlling idea and the reference made by each sentence. For the presentation from the simulation lab, Jordan should verify this feature and then compare the remaining choices. Question 13. The presentation drafted by Luis at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which word has the most negative connotation for a strong-willed person? Option A, stubborn. Option B, determined. Option C, resolute. Option D, persistent. The correct answer is option A, stubborn. Match the requested tone positive, neutral, or negative to the word's usual associations. The choices describe a similar basic idea but create different impressions. Connotation includes the emotional associations a word carries beyond its literal definition. Using this method on the presentation allows Luis to make a rule-based decision at the simulation lab. Question 14. Priya is preparing the final presentation for review at the simulation lab. They completed the difficult assignment yesterday. How is they functioning? Option A, noun. Option B, a verb. Option C, adjective. Option D, pronoun. The correct answer is option D, pronoun. A word's category depends on the job it performs in a specific sentence. Analyze function in context rather than relying only on the word's usual appearance. The surrounding structure shows whether the target names, replaces, describes, connects, locates, or expresses an action. As Priya reviews the presentation at the simulation lab, this check provides a reliable final confirmation. Question 15. During a study session at the simulation lab, Daniel reviews the presentation and encounters this language question. Which word best expresses result as a noun in this context? Option A, effect. Option B, effects. Option C, effect. Option D, affected. The correct answer is option C, effect. The surrounding context calls for the sense described in the question rather than the related alternative. Similar looking words can differ in meaning and grammatical function. Substitute a short definition for each candidate before selecting it. Applying the rule to the complete presentation helps Daniel avoid relying on how an option merely sounds at the simulation lab. Question 16. The presentation drafted by May at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which purpose best describes this text? A story describes a student's humorous first day in the simulation lab. Option A, to inform. Option B, to persuade. Option C, to entertain. Option D, to instruct. The correct answer is option C, to entertain. Focus on the writer's intended effect rather than only the subject matter. The description emphasizes a particular action such as explaining, arguing, warning, directing, or narrating. Purpose is revealed by what the text is designed to accomplish for its reader. During May's review of the presentation, applying this check at the simulation lab will help eliminate tempting distractors. Question 17. Noah is preparing the final presentation for review at the simulation lab. Which sentence is most appropriate for an objective report? Option A. The wonderful program caused an impressive attendance boom. Option B. Attendance increased by 8% during the 6-week program. Option C. Everyone clearly loved the excellent program. Option D. The program was obviously a huge success. The correct answer is option B. Attendance increased by 8% during the 6-week program. Language should match the audience, purpose, and required level of formality. Remove slang, exaggeration, unnecessary jargon, and abrupt commands. The context calls for wording that is clear, courteous, specific, and free from unsupported judgment. For the presentation from the simulation lab, Noah should verify this feature and then compare the remaining choices. Question 18. During a study session at the simulation lab, Sophia reviews the presentation and encounters this language question. Which pronoun correctly completes blank and Jordan organized the study session? Option A, her. Option B, she. Option C, hers. Option D, herself. The correct answer is option B, she. The blank serves as the subject performing the action in the sentence. Pronoun case is determined by grammatical function rather than by proximity to another name. Remove the paired noun temporarily and read the sentence again to test the form. Using this method on the presentation allows Sophia to make a rule-based decision at the simulation lab.
Stressed about your GED? We can take GED for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 19. Caleb is preparing the final presentation for review at the simulation lab. Which version uses parallel structure? Option A. The course requires checking citations, studying vocabulary, and comparing examples. Option B. The course requires checking citations, to studying, and examples. Option C. The course requires to checking, studying vocabulary, and to comparing. Option D. The course requires citations, studying vocabulary, and comparing. The correct answer is option A. The course requires checking citations, studying vocabulary, and comparing examples. Items with equal grammatical importance should use matching forms. Compare the form of each coordinated item rather than only its meaning. The list in this sentence must keep all three activities in the same construction. As Caleb reviews the presentation at the simulation lab, this check provides a reliable final confirmation. Question 20. The presentation drafted by Nia at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which displayed form is misspelled? Option A. Argument. Option B. Beginning. Option C. Apparently. Option D. Calendar. The correct answer is option C. Apparently. Check common suffixes, vowel sequences, and consonant doubling carefully. One form departs from standard spelling while the other choices follow accepted patterns. Spelling must often be recognized independently of pronunciation. Applying the rule to the complete presentation helps Nia avoid relying on how an option merely sounds at the simulation lab. Question 21. During a study session at the simulation lab, Owen reviews the presentation and encounters this language question. A draft has this problem: the main claim lacks evidence. Which revision should be made first? Option A. Change every verb to passive voice. Option B. Correct the title capitalization only. Option C. Delete the topic sentence. Option D. Add a relevant example or fact that supports the claim. The correct answer is option D. Add a relevant example or fact that supports the claim. The issue concerns meaning, organization, clarity, or consistency rather than a minor surface correction. Revision addresses larger communication problems before final proofreading. Resolve structural and meaning-level concerns before spending time on minor mechanics. During Owen's review of the presentation, applying this check at the simulation lab will help eliminate tempting distractors. Question 22. Layla is preparing the final presentation for review at the simulation lab. Which thesaurus replacement best preserves the meaning of relevant in formal writing? Option A. Casual. Option B. Pertinent. Option C. Unrelated. Option D. Excessive. The correct answer is option B. Pertinent. Thesaurus entries are related, but not every listed word is interchangeable in every context. Insert each candidate into the original sentence before choosing it. The replacement must preserve sense, tone, and grammatical function. For the presentation from the simulation lab, Layla should verify this feature and then compare the remaining choices. Question 23. The presentation drafted by Marcus at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which sentence type is represented by although Noah proofread the survey, Elena verified the policy? Option A. Simple sentence. Option B. Compound sentence. Option C. Complex sentence. Option D. Compound minus complex sentence. The correct answer is option C. Complex sentence. Mark each subject minus verb unit before classifying the whole sentence. The example contains a specific combination of complete and subordinate clause units. Sentence type depends on the number and relationship of independent and dependent clauses. Using this method on the presentation allows Marcus to make a rule-based decision at the simulation lab. Question 24. The presentation drafted by Elena at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which sentence uses quotations correctly? Option A. The first draft is clear, Elena said. Option B. The first draft is clear, Elena said. Option C. The first draft is clear, Elena said. Option D. The first draft is clear, Elena said. The correct answer is option D. The first draft is clear, Elena said. Identify the structure first, then choose the mark that performs that exact function. A dialogue tag follows a quoted statement. Punctuation marks signal grammatical boundaries and relationships. As Elena reviews the presentation at the simulation lab, this check provides a reliable final confirmation. Question 25. The presentation drafted by Ibrahim at the simulation lab contains the example below. Which detail most directly supports the claim? Flashcards are useful for mastering word parts and commonly confused terms. Option A. The basketball team won its opening game. Option B. Recognizing a familiar root can reveal the central idea of a longer academic or medical term. Option C. Dependent clauses and verbal phrases must be attached to a clause that can stand alone. Option D. Students can place a root on one side and its meaning on the other for quick retrieval practice. The correct answer is option D. Students can place a root on one side and its meaning on the other for quick retrieval practice. Track the controlling idea and the reference made by each sentence. The supporting sentence must explain or illustrate the stated claim rather than merely present another true fact. Paragraph structure depends on unity, logical order, and clear relationships among sentences. Applying the rule to the complete presentation helps Ibrahim avoid relying on how an option merely sounds at the simulation lab.